Declaration of results. I am on Jai, Chairman of the Electoral Commission, hereby give notice the total number of votes given to each candidate in the chairman's election of 20 May 2023 to Brikama Area Council is as follows. Denver Ba, PPP, 2,023 votes, 2023. Young Baro, Independent, 1,341 votes, 1341. City NPP, 52,409 votes, 52429. Amadou Mokhtar Cham, Independent, 1,427 votes, 1127. Yankuba Dabo, UDP, 77,946 votes, 77946. Ahmadu Jite, Independent, 6,700 votes, 6718. Salif Jallo, Independent, 1,020 votes, 1022. Ibrahim J.S. Sane, Independent, 24,558 votes, 24558. Baisi Jao, Independent, 1,103 votes, 1183. There were 11 invalid votes. The results were certified by Antonio Morseka, returning officer in the area. These results were witnessed and endorsed by Mohamed Sar, agent for UDP, Ibrahim Adiba, agent for UDP, Lamin Jamba Jame, agent for NPP, Agent Ujalo, agent for DFA, Amar Bayan, agent for PPP, Mustafa Jabang, agent for PPP. Having received the high number of votes in the Brikama Area Council's chairperson election of 20 May 2023, Young Wadabo has been duly elected as chairman for Brikama Area Council. Dated 28th May, signed Alimanjai, chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And as announced by Chairman Ali Momanjai, these are the results for Brikama Area Council, and it reads as follows. Jaina Baba, PPP, 2,023 votes, 2023 votes. Yankuba Baro, Independent, 1,341 votes, 1341. Sidi Sharif Size, NPP, 52,429 votes, 52429. Amadou Mukhtar Cham, Independent, 1,127 votes, 1127. Yankuba Dabo, UDP, 77,946 votes, 77946 votes. Ahmadu Jite, Independent, 6,718 votes, 6718 votes. Salif Jallo, Independent, 1,022 votes, 1022 votes. Ibrahim J.S. Sane, Independent, 24,558 votes, 24558 votes. Baisi Sao, Independent, 1,183 votes, 1183 votes. There were 11 invalid votes. The results were certified by Anthony Robert Sega, returning officer in the Brikama administrative area. These results were witnessed and endorsed by Momodu A. Sarr, agent for UDP, Ibrahim Adiba, agent for UDP. Ibrahim Adiba.
Oh, okay.
Okay. These results were witnessed and endorsed by. Sorry.
Take it out.
Okay, let me just take it out. These results were witnessed and endorsed by Momodu A. Sarr, agent for UDP, Ibrahim Adiba, agent for UDP, Lamin Jamba Jame, agent for NPP, Ijatu Jalo, agent for GFA, Aminata MR Abajan, agent for PPP, and Mustafa Jabang, agent for PPP, having received the highest number of votes in the Birkama Area Council's chairperson election of 28 May 2023. Yankuba Dabo has been duly elected as chairman for Birkama Area Council, dated 20th May 2023, signed Chairman Ali Mohammed.
Oh, thank you very much.
Let's move.
So we repeat, right? Yeah.
Look, let's go ahead. Chairman, this is illegal. Let's go ahead.
Let's repeat, please. It's going to govern public. Wow, let's repeat, please.
Because the whole world is waiting now.
Absolutely.
Chairman.
Wow.
Is it over there?
He will give a signal when he's done. Once again, these are the results for Birkama Area Council as announced by Chairman Ali Mohammed Jai, and it reads as follows. Jaina Baba, PPP, 2,023 votes, 2023 votes. Yankuba Baro, Independent, 1,341 votes, 1,341 votes. Sidi Sharif Sise, NPP, 52,429 votes, 52429 votes. Amadou Mukhtar Cham, Independent, 1,127 votes, 1127 votes. Yankuba Dabo, UDP, 77,946 votes, 77946 votes. Amadou Jite, Independent, 6,718 votes, 6718 votes. Salim Jallo, Independent, 1,022 votes, 1022 votes. Ibrahim J.S. Sane, Independent, 24,558 votes, 24558 votes. Baisi Sawo, Independent, 1,183 votes, 1183 votes. There were 11 invalid votes. The results were certified by Anthony Robert Seka, returning officer in the Birkama administrative area. These results were witnessed and endorsed by Momodu A. Sarr, agent for UDP, Dr. Demba Sabali, agent for Ibrahim Adiba, agent for UDP, Lamin Jamba Jame, agent for NPP, Ijatu Jalo, agent for GFA, Aminata MR Bajan, agent for PPP, and Mustafa Jabang, agent for PPP, having received the highest number of votes in the Birkama Area Council's chairperson election of 20th May 2023. Yankuba Dabo has been duly elected chairman for Birkama Area Council, dated 20th May 2023, signed Chairman Ali Mohamed Jai.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you very much, Umi. And that's it for the results for the local government elections 2023. I thank you all.
Hello viewers, welcome back, and that was the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Ali Mohamed Jai, announcing the results, our final results from Brikama Administrative Area, which is Brikama Area Council. As you have just heard from the chairman of the commission, the results are as follows. Jenababa, PPP, that's the People Progressive Party, 2023. Jenababa, PPP, 2023. Yankuba Barrow, independent candidate, 1,341 votes. Yankuba Barrow, independent candidate, 1,341 votes. Sidi Sirif Sise, National People's Party, 52,429 votes. Sidi Sise, NPP, 52,429 votes. Ahmadu Mukhtar Cham, independent candidate, 1,127 votes. Ahmadu Mukhtar Cham, independent candidate, 1,127 votes. Yankuba Dabo, United Democratic Party, 77,946 votes. Yankuba Dabo, United Democratic Party, 77,946 votes. Ahmadu Jite, independent candidate, 6,718 votes. Ahmadu Jite, independent candidate, 6,718 votes. Saliu Jallo, independent candidate, 1,022. Saliu Jallo, independent candidate, 1,022 votes. Ibrahim J.S. Sane, independent, 24,558 votes. Ibrahim J.S. Sane, independent candidate, 24,558 votes. Baisi Saho, independent candidate, 1,183 votes. Baisi Saho, independent candidate, 1,183 votes. There were 11 invalid votes as just declared by the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission. Going by these results, Yankuba Dabo of the United Democratic Party is duly elected as the new chairman of the Brikama Area Council, as announced by the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission. Over to you, Loli and team.
Baraka bake Aliou assalamu alaikum baɗigol mel ben juɓe kañum tembena komin aliyamo e ñamen kibaru labangol fintitana kabona ñin sirantiyo bulmi an ko wolemo AIC la sirantiyo te min Aliou Mamar Jayde tumomin ay kankularo ke kasara bil labangol min keta kontir labonte kabona West Coast region tundo ñin kam an ko wolemo Brikama Area Council ti e Jena Baba mi a lonko atemu muntadron alota PPP patio toyalla ay carte kese wuli fula ani keme carte kese wuli fula ani muang ani sabayo le soto Jena Baba PPP carte kese wuli fula muang ani saba ayo le soto Yankuba Dabo mi alonko atele lota UDP patio toyala ay carte kese wuli taworo wula ani woro wula tan kon tan keme kononto tan nani ani woro Yankuba Dabo UDP patio toyala carte kese wuli keme woro wula ani woro wula keme kononto tan nani ani woro ay wala soto Saliu Jallo mi lota independent a fangut amuda kunkilina ay carte kese wuli killing ani muang ani fula ay wala soto carte kese wuli killing ani muang ni fula Yankuba Barrow independent ay carte kese wuli killing keme saba tan nani ani kili ay wala gagné Yankuba Barrow carte kese wuli killing keme saba tan nani anin killing Ahmadu M Cham ay lota independent carte kese wuli killing keme muang anin warawula carte kese wuli killing keme anin muang ni warawula ay wala gagné Sidi Sirif Sise NPP patio toyala ay carte kese wultang anin fula carte kese keme nani muang anin kononto. Sidi Sirif Sise carte kese wultalul anin fula carte kese keme nani muang anin kononto ay wole gagné. Hani bi ka tenten kontirola Ahmadu Jite independent carte kese wuli woro keme woro wula tang anin sey carte kese wuli woro keme woro wula tang anin sey Ibrahim JS Sane miyango independent carte kese wuli mwani nani keme lulu ta lulu anin sey ay wala gagné Ibrahim JS Sane carte kese wuli mwani nani keme lulu ta lulu anin sey Bay Sisao carte kese wuli kiling keme anin tan woro wula tan sey anin sabab Bay Sisao carte kese wuli kiling keme tan sey anin saba ayole gagné. Hani bi nga tenten control la fanna la dro ñine keta carte fayol timi control timi ya lonko wole botanan ate Brikama area council tundoñ wo kamala sembo mi ya lonka yole soto men keta siran tioti IEC memo Aliou Maman Jadi min nata gagné wo tundoñ to wole keta munto dron Yankuba Daboti tumo min na ay gagné roke carte kese wuli taw woro wula ani woro wula carte kese keme kononto tan nani ani woro.
Yo abarka bake loli M Camara musibe meden innaw men adanna on ko kibaruji sakkiti dinge sengo ko ando ko dum woni kontu gongol bay ko dum do wonno dange fadude jemmon fo hay odo subaka kono no way wasita joni pembangol hewti ko hojjudu burado andirede West Coast region gilabe konti carte den ha ardi don ka IEC burado andirede Jenaba Ba o hebi guluji didi kanyum e nogay e tati Jenaba Ba ko PPP o darani o hebi carte guluji didi kanyum e nogay e tati burado andirede Yankuba mo anduda kankadi ko independent candidate o dari o hebi Yankuba Baro Yankuba Baro kanko o hebi ɓuraɗo andirede o heɓi wulure temettati capannay e go'o Yankuba Baro o heɓi wulure temettati capannay kañum e go'o ɓuraɗo andirede Amadou M Cham mo anduɗa ko independent kanko o darani Amadou Cham independent candidate kanko heɓi wulure temedere nogay kañum e jeeɗiɗi carte wulure temedere nogay kañum e jeeɗiɗi ɓuraɗo andirede Sidi Sirif Sise mo anduɗa ko kanko darani NPP Sidi Sirif Sise daraniɗo NPP o heɓi carte capanɗe joyi temennayyi nogay kañum e jeenayyi carte capanɗe joyi kañum e ɗiɗi temennayyi kañum e nogay e jeenayyi ko ɗum o heɓi ha joni en kontinay iwen ɗon yehen ko ɓuraɗo andirede Amadou Moukhtar Cham mo anduɗa kankadi o darike o heɓi carte wulure temedere kañum e nogay e jeeɗiɗi wulure temedere kañum e nogay e jeeɗiɗi ɓuraɗo andirede Yankuba Dabo mo anduɗa ko kanko darani pati ɓuraɗo andirede UDP on Yankuba Dabo o heɓi guluji capanɗe jeeɗiɗi kañum e temeɗɗe jeenayyi capannayyi e jeego guluje temeɗɗe jeeɗiɗi capannayyi kañum e guluji temeɗɗe jeeɗiɗi capanɗe jeenayyi sappo e nayyi e jeego
guluje capanɗe jeeɗiɗi he jeeɗiɗi
e jeeɗiɗi
temɗe jeenayyi he
guluji capanɗe jeeɗiɗi e jeeɗiɗi temennayyi capannayyi kañum e jeego ko ɗum ɓuraɗo andirede Yankuba Dabo heɓi ha joni en daara on ɓuraɗo andirede Ahmad Jite ko heɓi ko guluji jeego temeɗɗe jeeɗiɗi sappo kañum e jeetati guluji jeego temeɗɗe jeeɗiɗi sappo kañum e jeetati ko ɗum o ɓuraɗo andirede Ahmad Jite heɓi ha joni ɓuraɗo andirede Saliou Diallo o heɓi wulure nogay e ɗiɗi Saliou Diallo ko ɗum o heɓi wulure kañum e nogay e ɗiɗi ɓuraɗo andirede Ibrahima JS Sao sitay be wawi men hollude Ibrahima JS Sane kanko heɓi ko ɓurare ndirede guluji nogay kañum e nayyi guluji nogay nayi temeɗɗe joyyi capanɗe joyyi kañum e jeetati guluji nogay e nayyi temeɗɗe joyyi capanɗe joyyi kañum e jeetati ko ɗum o heɓi ɓuraro andede baysi sawo mo anduɗa kankadi o heɓi wulure temedere kañum e capanɗe jeetati e tati baysi sawo o heɓi wulure temedere capanɗe jeetati kañum e tati ko ɗum ɗo wonno ko iwri ko ɓura andirede IEC kibaru mo anduɗa ko wonno e wadde ɗon ka West Coast region hari koli
jërëjëf Balde Banna assalamu aleykum wa rahmatullah mbokk yi ñu dalalaat leen rek ci election results koo xam ne mu ngi bàyyeekoo ci banxaas bi ci wàllu sànnib kàrta gi ci biir réew mi si jamono ji nag sànni nañ seeni results gu mujj gi mu bàyyeekoo nag ci Brikama administrative area sa foofu nag ñu ngi wone ne parti independent candidate maanaam ab independent candidate bu ñu naan Yankuba Barrow moom nag ci kàrta gi am na junne ñetti téeméer ñeent fukk ak benn Yankuba Barrow doon ab independent candidate si kàrta yi am na junne ñetti téeméer ñeent fukk ak benn ku ñu naan Ahmadou M Cham moom it mu doon beneen independent candidate moom ci kàrta yi am na junne téeméer ñaar fukk ak juróom-ñaar Ahmadou M Cham moom am na junne téeméer ñaar fukk ak juróom-ñaar CDS Cissé moom mu doon naka parti NPP bi seen candidate gi moom am na juróom fukk junne ak ñaar ñeenti téeméer ñaar fukk ak juróom-ñeent juróom fukk ak ñaari junne ñeenti téeméer ñaar fukk ak juróom-ñeent la parti NPP bi seen candidate gi am ba tey rek ñu continuer di wane ne sànnib kàrta gi naka ku ñu naan Jeena Ba moom mu doon parti PPP bi seen candidate gi ci kàrta yi moom am na ñaari junne ñaar fukk ak ñett ñaari junne ñaar fukk ak ñett la PPP seen candidate bi di wuyoo si Jeena Ba loolu la am ci sànnib kàrta gi Yankuba Dabo taxawal parti UDP bi ci Brikama administrative area ci kàrta gi moom am na juróom-ñaar fukk ak juróom-ñaari junne juróom-ñeenti téeméer ñeent fukk ak juróom-benn Yankuba Dabo di UDP seen candidate bi ci kàrta yi am na juróom-ñaar fukk ak juróom-ñaari junne juróom-ñeenti téeméer ñeent fukk ak juróom-benn kàrta Saliou Diallo moom mu doon ab independent candidate am na junne ñaar fukk ak ñaar Saliou Diallo di independent candidate si Brikama administrative area moom ci kàrta yi am na junne ñaar fukk ak ñaar ba tey rek ci candidate yu taxaw si Brikama administrative area beneen independent candidate bu ñu naan Ahmad Jiite moom ci kàrta yi am na juróom-benn junne juróom-ñaar téeméer fukk ak juróom-ñett Ahmad Jiite luy war a toll si juróom-benn junne juróom-ñaar téeméer fukk ak juróom-benn ci ay nit ñoo ko sànnil kàrta Ibrahim JS Sane moom it mu doon independent candidate liy war a toll si ñaar fukk ak ñeenti junne juróomi téeméer juróom fukk ak juróom-ñett ci ay nit ñoo ko sànnil kàrta Ibrahima JS Sane moom mu doon independent candidate ñaar fukk ak ñeenti junne juróomi téeméer juróom fukk ak juróom-ñett ci ay nit ñoo ko sànnil kàrta ba tey rek ñu sukkandiku ci xibaaru bayeeko ci bànqaasu IEC bi Baysi Saho moom it mu doon koo xam ne nag ab independent candidate la moom nag ci kàrta yi am na junne téeméer juróom-ñett fukk ak ñett Baysi Saho doon ab independent candidate luy war a toll si junne téeméer juróom-ñett fukk ak ñett ci ay nit ñoo ko sànnil kàrta mbokk yi comme ni ma ko waxee si njëlbeen bi bii moo doon nag xibaar yu mujj yu bàyyeekoo ci bànqaasu IEC bi daanaka si jamono ji Aliou dañoo wax ne nag results yi ndar keppal nañ ko ma delloo la rek kàddu gi
Jerejef Hari Koli Ibrahim Balde ak Loli M Camara. Well, thank you so much for that translation in full Mandinka and Wolof. Well, by the way, Yankuba Dabo, who is the newly elected chairman of the Brikama Area Council, was born at Kafuta in the West Coast region. He's a UK-trained human rights lawyer and also, a very popular youth activist. He was part of the executive that spearheaded the 3 years Jotna protests against President Barrow for him to respect, the 3-year transition promise that he made to Gambians. For many in the West Coast region and across the country, Yankuba is a mentor and development-oriented young man, and they hope his election into the council will help in transforming West Coast region. I'm now joined in this on the panel again by Mr. Mboch and Ansumane Eso Nyasi. So, Mr. Mboch, West Coast region, the powerhouse of Gambian politics, where we have over 365,000 registered voters. Yankuba Dabo, we predicted earlier on that it was more between the NPP and, of course, UDP.
Obviously.
Yankuba Dabo winning by a huge margin.
No surprises.
Did you saw this coming?
You want to go first?
So much?
I have to say, I'm not sure what I expected to come, if you know what I mean. So I had no expectations, as it were. We thought that it might be a tough fight. Okay. It turned out to be, what was the difference? 25,000.
Yeah.
Also the difference between the first and
the second.
And the second. So I really had no thoughts about it. You know, it was going to be fascinating who would take it. And now Yankuba has taken it and giving the UDP a clean sweep of the urban areas. That in itself is a talking point.
So?
For me, no surprises. I mean, I did predict yesterday or last night that I see UDP winning it, even though I also had a feeling that NPP were going to put up a strong fight, unfortunately, for them. But we expected this to happen, really. I think for me, looking at how the UDP had gone about their campaign in West Coast, they've campaigned aggressively. Of course, we've seen the NPP also, you know, especially within the final days of the campaign, also really campaigning aggressively. But I think for me, from the onset, I had a strong feeling that this was for UDP to lose. And yeah, we can only...
What will you attribute as a determining factor of the outcome of this result? Like you said, the NPP campaigned aggressively. The president was hugely involved. I mean, like I said earlier on, I mean, he was busy laying foundation stone across the region. I mean, just a week before the actual voting. UDP, on the other hand, were also campaigning aggressively, using the social media, particularly, I mean, convincing people on the need to vote for Yankuba. Like I said, I mean, young mind, I mean, very focused, to be honest with you.
For me, I think, okay, I think three things are responsible for this. One is this general perception within West Coast that the outgoing chairman underperformed. And remember, he's with the NPP. I believe that must have played a part. That's one. Secondly, the split within the NPP, wherein you have two camps there, one going with Jite, who ended up becoming or contesting as an independent candidate. That too, I think, played a part in this. But secondly as well, Yankuba's campaign, you look at Yankuba's campaign team, the top brass is comprised of people from different walks of life, different parties. You saw Abdurrahim here, who repeatedly told us on air that he is not UDP, but he endorsed Yankuba's campaign and is campaigning for him because he believes he has what it takes to transform the region. So for me, I think this is what is responsible for this. And one has to also credit UDP for the manner in which they campaign in West Coast this time around. I don't think I've seen such a campaign from the party in a long time in West Coast, and we really have to give them credit for that. It's been very peaceful, you know, it's been orderly, and the message really has gone across, and I think people of West Coast received their message well.
But do you think even without the split, I mean, NPP has what it takes to challenge UDP in West Coast region? For example, if you look at the figures that Siddiq got and that of Ahmed Jite, if you put them together,
still
it's not close to what Yankuba got.
At all.
Okay, now you also have to bear in mind that the split is not only within the NPP, but even amongst alliance parties as well. And the APRC, for example, you look at what Sane had, the votes Sane had, you put that together with Jite's votes and see this, you see the margin is very slim. So I think without the split, they would have really been able to put up a strong fight. Unfortunately, it's politics, these things happen. But again, we cannot downplay UDP's victory or what they've done to achieve this. I think for me, they fought really hard for this and they deserve it. They were favorites from the onset and no surprises for me.
The campaign manager, Mamadou Sabali, when he came, many people were doubting him.
Yeah.
During his short period there as a campaign manager, I mean, it seems the party is doing well.
He did extremely well during the campaign. I was following. I think at some point he traveled out of the country after a few days.
Yes, he was
came
in
back
Morocco
and went straight to the campaign again. I think he's been crisscrossing the country since before nominations. So I have to say that Mr. Sabali too has done, you know, an amazing job in this campaign. And even I saw some of the youths as well.
Yeah.
Ismaila
Fadera. I was just teasing. I was like, I think Bowson is to order for them to seize his phone for a while. Ismaila has been.
I mean, you can't help but admire them for the way they are passionate about what they're doing.
I mean,
the consistency, the determination. You have to give them that, really. I'm not saying we haven't seen that, you know, in other parties, but the kind of energy.
The energy, yeah.
You know, the energy that they give into their campaign, really. You hardly see these things, you know, and I think for me...
Especially when it comes to social media, the way they utilize the social media to send their message across.
And
it's
women,
something that even NPP
and I was really amazed at how they managed to mobilize women, especially within West Coast. I saw some of them, videos of some of them this morning around the market celebrating. But I think the important point for me, Yankuba's victory, or the UDP's victory in West Coast, is down to these three things that I highlighted. One is the split within the NPP and its alliance parties. Secondly, is the general perception that the outgoing NPP chairman in Brikama underperformed. It's a general perception within West Coast. But also the manner in which UDP campaigned this time around. Amazing.
Any lesson
that's an interesting one. The Sonko underperformance, possibly debatable. The GT factor, as you mentioned, even if we combine the two, that wouldn't have made much of a difference. No to alliance, APRC, well, we've had that for a very long time. Yeah. So I'm trying to find what kind of metrics can I use to quantify the different factors that bore on this. I really do not find any. So anything else I use will be impressionistic. What's been my impression of this or my impression of that? I've got no independent metrics of quantifying the different weight, the different contributions of all these different factors. But the fact that all the Brikama, KMC, Banjul, these urban areas, perhaps if I'm looking for a clue to why the, UDP won in Brikama, maybe the clue is in there. Earlier on, we talked about, with this sort of elections, everything that I blame the president for, or the government, or right now we are going through so much difficulties. People telling you about now electricity, cost of living. We are really pissed off about all sorts of things because things are very expensive. Then I will punish the NPP, the incumbent power, especially in urban areas. You haven't seen any similar thing in the rural areas.
So it's more like their candidates are paying the price.
Absolutely.
For what is happening, which is beyond them.
This is what we normally see.
Exactly.
Even go to the US. Yeah. Midterm elections, there is that distance, they punish the incumbent for some reason. It's always the incumbent party tend to suffer within midterm elections. This is our equivalent.
And you tend to learn a lot from that midterm election.
Absolutely.
Because it tells you what people are feeling.
Absolutely.
What people's perception about you and the system is.
This is our equivalent of that. 2021 presidential elections. 2022 has passed, and some people came to me and even said, oh, we don't think that the president is doing much about corruption. So there are all of these perceptions. They will come back to damage your candidate. So I think that perhaps that's where I must look to some of the reasons, at least, not all of it perhaps, some of the reasons, but to just credit, as it were, everything to their campaigning style and strategy. I am not sure. Perhaps one was simply milking a feeling that was just latent, that I just brought it out. I became the focus of their protest, as it were, and then they just give it to you.
And like you said, I mean, and like you said, I mean, and the opposition, they are very strategic in the way they send out their messages now, as far as, you know, the government is concerned. I mean, these are the issues they use to convince voters.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And there's something else. I mean, because
and it's going in their favor.
Because of UDP and NPP, the history and all of that, you know that the UDP supporters, especially in this area, would be more motivated to go and vote. Yeah. That aspect will also play into it. With the perhaps NPP supporters, I do not know. Is it complacency? I do not know. Because this is really quite difficult. How much
Mr. Mboj, I'll get back to you. I understand the winner for the Basse Area Council, Mohamedou Sise, is now on the line to speak to us. We'll also try to reach to other candidates as well. Mohamedou, welcome to QTV. First and foremost, congratulations on your victory. How do you react?
Yeah, good morning, viewers, and my beautiful URR people, those who voted for us and those who did not vote for us. They are fundamental in our right to choose the leader of their choice. I think people have spoken. We appreciated the efforts and the energy people have put together to make sure that we entrust this leadership to us.
I mean, when you were going into these elections, how confident were you that, you know, you were going to win against another formidable figure? In this case, we're talking about Fode Danger, who is the outgoing chairman of the Basse Area Council.
Yeah, for us, we are 100% confident because we want to serve this region in different capacities. We want to lead the young people, representing them in the National Youth Council. In that duration, we were able to lay down foundation for the youth committee, at least for pillar structure, you understand? So, because before coming to the office at the youth committee level, it's just like a similar case what is happening in the area council. But there was a lot of nepotism, financial mismanagement, and so on. And the similar things we are seeing in the area council. So we serve, at least the promises we made, we were able to achieve it. So that's been the reason that working with the young people and the women, they have the trust, and then they believe that gives us more confidence that we are going to make it.
I'm talking about the issue of corruption, nepotism, as you just alleged against the outgoing chairman. What will you do different from him?
Yeah, first of all, we have our first agenda. We are talking about the good governance, responsive and accountable system. In this, we are talking about the revenue transparency. That's the e-revenue collection system. But need to be transparent, and everyone, all levels of URR are entitled to make sure that whatever we are, we get both income and expenditures will be displayed for everyone to see. And then other thing also we are introducing as a new system is that we are going to introduce the anti-corruption bylaw within the council, because we feel that a lot of revenues are collected, but they are not deposited into council accounts. They are diverted to individual accounts. All those things, so we need that it should be a legal instrument, at least to judge or to discipline people who are found wanted. And then if you look at the governance also, by looking at the ward development committees, these are things that they did not, they don't have a structure in place like dictated by the Act. You know, the Act is saying that the village development committees are constituted by the Cabildo representative. But usually when we are into office as a politician, we want to bring our own people in place just to make sure that we have a committee just to support the agenda instead of the community. So we'll make sure that as a council, we are going to implement it as is dictated by the law.
I mean, most of these things are easily said than done. I mean, what will be your immediate priority if you get into office?
Yeah, before 6 months, we are going to work on the good governance assignment. That's the agenda number one. Once we have that system in place, now we have the foundation to move to other areas. I
mean, you're talking about good governance. What is good governance to you? What does it take to have a good governance?
Yeah, because in an institution, if the governance has a problem, everything will collapse. You cannot have any structure without a good foundation. So good governance in terms of management and so on, one can say that in layman perspective, it's just like a foundation of a building. So without a proper foundation, you cannot construct any strong building which will be last for that. So because as far as how the system is, and by reading through the audit reports, you understand, you will exactly know that in terms of governance, councils are really weak in terms of governance. Because, one will not 100% blame only the council, but also you need to look at the legal instruments which also did not empower the council to do certain unilaterally decisions without getting approval from ministry or other the government, which also is also delayed. But as we are into the office, we'll advocate with our other colleagues to make sure that legal instruments are reformed or amended, at least to give the council powers to implement certain decisions without requesting a permission from the Secretary of State, that's the minister, or so on.
The other thing that we have in this country, we have this problem of continuity. I mean, many a times when you have a new person elected into office, you want to start from scratch. What is that you think the outgoing chairman, in this case, Foredanja, has done that you think is good for the region, and when you come into office, you're going to build on that, to continue development?
Yeah, for sure. He contributed his effort because he's the first ever chairperson who introduced the digital tax connection. Even though it's not effective like he intended, but that one that's why we in our agenda we are talking about effective e-collection revenue system. You understand? Because already that is in place. They have a company who is working on it and they introduced it, but it's not effective as we wanted. So we really need to build up some of those good norms and then move to another level. Not only that, even the way the council was dilapidated before he came into the office, at least the space of the council has been changed. Revenue collection in terms of the annual revenue has been increased. All those things are achievements which he this time. So once we are into the office, when we hand in over, we receive from them. We look at it, some of those strengths, and then make sure that to work on it at least to build the area council we want and URR people wanted.
Just briefly, Mohammed, before you go in the local languages, if you can just talk to the electorates in URR. I mean, now that you've been duly elected as the next chairman of the Basse Area Council, what message do you have for them?
Yeah, well, we thank them for trusting us. But one thing which is very important is that this is one URR, one people, and then one Gambia. You understand? Because in political or during elections, we have different perspectives, and then it's our right. Let them not see that Mohammed is an SP, so he needs to serve only SP interests. But we really need to work with other parties and bring them on board to work as one family, one people for the development of URR, which is very, very essential. And I know people have started celebrations since yesterday. We advise the young people to celebrate with discipline and then to avoid any casualties. Because at the end of the day, we need everyone to make sure that we move the URR to the shape we want.
Thank you very much, Mohamedou Cissé, who is the newly elected chairman of the Basse Area Council. We are talking to us from Basse. I mean, like I said, I mean, he's going to replace Foredanja, who has been the chairman of the council since 2018. Mr. Mbuch and Sumana, you have heard from the newly elected chairman of Basse Area Council. He spoke about that, right?
Yeah.
Plans are big.
Yeah.
The governance and all of that. Then I think of, let's look at these administrative councils. You've got three functions. You've got legislative function, which they do together. You've got administrative function done by the CEO. You are not going to appoint the CEO. Yeah. They will consult you, but you have this service commission that administer, and some of these appointments they will make. You don't make that. So you've got big dreams. But when you look at legislatively, really, what are your powers? What latitude do you really to move about? What really can you do? So maybe sooner or later the reality would hit. And possibly I would have asked him, how do you feel? Because they made an amendment to the Local Government Act 2002. How would you feel, you as the elected representative, elected, but you are answerable to the governor who is not?
Governor who is not.
So once the reality begins to hit, and you see some of the shortcomings. Really, if we want local government to deliver the way we want it to deliver,
there has to be
the process of devolution, which had stalled. Absolutely. It had completely stalled. So this is the thing. We're blaming these local councils, not realizing that perhaps central government has actually sent them out to battle with one hand tied behind their back.
And that's the problem. We had both Mayor Rohilu, of course, Talib on the program. And then there is the issue of even the subvention that the central government should give to them. Most of them are not getting that subvention.
Yep.
Rohi Malki was telling us the highest they get is around 3 million or 2 million. The same with KMC as well.
That legislative, we should really look to that if we genuinely want to make local government meaningful, as it were, and to be part of that developmental apparatus, as it were. But really, when you look at it, and even we understand that they are regular, usually your traditional ways, forms of getting money. Now, central government is creating all kinds of agencies.
Yes.
Now you pay directly to them. It's no longer going there. So there are so many shortcomings, yet we are not looking at that aspect and just saying, oh, these councillors are not doing this. There is that element, but there are other elements as well that we must take into account. We need to have a fuller picture.
Ansumana?
I think you've highlighted a very salient point, especially on the side of some of these agencies that government has created. We know some of these areas where main revenue, sources of revenue for councils, now they don't get that anymore. Subventions that are supposed to come from central government, they're receiving maybe about 1% of it. And I think for me, the lack of political willingness on the side of central government that we haven't seen over the years is also in some way crippling councils financially, and it's having a bearing on the delivery of services. We would blame them for not living up to expectations sometimes, but then we have to be honest. Really, I think we have to look at the laws, the Local Government Act 1, but also there has to be that political willingness on the side of central government. Otherwise, you know, we would keep saying the same things. For me, I think it's about time. And councils, they have a very powerful body, Galga.
Galga, yeah.
Through Galga, I believe they can even introduce a bill in Parliament. There's nothing wrong with doing that, because they have been complaining for the past 5 years, but we have not really seen that interest on the side of central government to ensure that at least something is done about it. So why not introduce a bill through Galga? Who knows?
And Ali, I have this fear, especially now with Banjul, KMC and BAC. You've got UDP people in there.
Yeah.
The confrontation with government. Once we politicize this, we are not moving anywhere. Where can the maturity come from? Hey, look, we have to live together. You know, we may not like each other, but we have to work together. But if we have the interests of the people at heart, perhaps we may find ways of ironing out our differences. So I'm very scared about this political element now getting in the way of proper development. That one must be very scared of that. We hope that our president will lead the way, say no need for this. We need to work together, and hopefully these chairmen and mayors will respond in kind and say, look, we need to be mature. Let us not allow this politics to get in the way. That is very scary.
Who should take the lead in this case?
The president, central government, without a doubt, they have to take the lead and be ready and willing to work with these councils, especially opposition-led councils. The time for politics is over now. We've gone past that. Yes, I know politicians, they always look forward to the next elections. But from here until then, from now until then, the focus should be on delivering for the people. We highlighted a lot of challenges that people are facing since last night. We've been talking about them. You look at the economic situation, the cost of living, all these things that we talk about since last night. How do you think we are going to deal with these things if we don't have our political leaders really working together, putting aside their differences and focusing more on what the people really want? Otherwise, this bickering, this back and forth...
Are you saying, what Gambians or the public will have in stock for the incumbent, the president and his party ahead of next elections will be based on what changes from now to 2026?
I tell you what, it has had a bearing, I mean, and all of us can, I mean, it's visible on these results we're seeing, especially within the urban area. You look, since the presidential elections, we have been living with this almost every day. You hear people complain about our current economic situation, the cost of living, the increment on energy, on the energy sector, and all these things. People complaining about these things. So if nothing is done about that, I did say this yesterday, and I'm saying it again.
Yeah, Ansumana, I understand we now have the spokesperson. We now have the spokesperson of the United Democratic Party, Alma Metal, on the line. Mr. Tal, good morning, and once again, congratulations on the victory that your party has. I mean, even though there was a tie, I mean, 4-4, but I mean, you won in Banjul, KM, Brikama, and Mansa Konko. How is the mood like within the party?
The mood is very celebratory. We are very pleased that progressive issue-based politics has finally won the day. And yes, the number of local government areas, there is a kind of parity or equality, 4-4. But in terms of population size, I think there is no doubt that Gambians have voted massively for issues affecting their localities, and they have voted massively for a progressive politics that is defining local issues on the ground, because all our candidates for the mayoral and chairman positions came out with very clear, very specific agenda issues that they've put before their different electorates. All of it based on the politics of development, the politics of service. So it's a very vibrant mood within the party that issue-based politics, progressive politics, policy of transformation is what Gambians are increasingly choosing. We have seen it in the councillor elections. We have seen it again in the mayoral election. So we are very pleased with the outcome of this election.
I mean, what is that the party is getting right in the urban compared to the rural Gambia?
For me, I don't play into this urban-rural Gambia. Gambia is one country. It's the smallest country on mainland Africa. So, like, it's a low-income small country. You can start your day about Gambia in the morning, 6 o'clock, and you are back at point A, where you. So, really, I mean, those who want to slice and dice Gambia into rural and urban are really missing the point. The point is that this country can together rise as one of the city-states of Africa, just like Mauritius is, just like, to some extent, Botswana is. But most spectacularly how Singapore is, because Singapore is half of Gambia's size. So really, what we need to focus on is the main agendas. How do you transform a small geographical space where people are related by blood, by religion, by other ties, into a space where people are focused on values of justice, of fairness, of equity. So really, getting it right is about uniting this country into a progressive force that it was for the last, since the time of our independence until our transformation was rudely interrupted by the dictatorship coup d'etat that happened in 1994. So really, we are getting it right, and we are preaching the same message. From 2021, we came up with our 5-point agenda, trying to chart a course where transformation is not only possible, but it is going to be people-driven and people-centered.
Mr. Mboch wants to come in here. Yes, Mr. Mboch.
Hello, Almami.
My brother, good morning. Good morning. It's good to hear you, man.
Almami.
Yeah.
that the last time you had 7 administrative councils, this time you had 4. The graph is going down, even though you want to play differently. But surely, I'm not sure what is there to celebrate. How would you respond to that?
For us, obviously, the numbers in the CRR South and North Bank region came a little bit as a surprise. We had always thought that CRR North, South particularly, and URR, we were in trouble there. But for the North Bank region and CRR North, we thought the numbers explain a better and a different story. Yes, we have not been able to maintain them as you alluded to. But for us, again, the plurality of votes across all these municipalities and local government areas just shows one thing, that UDP is again ascendant and has been the beacon and the bastion for progressive politics in the Gambia. We are about ideas of change, and in all our areas where we are dominant now, we have shown a way of governing that is not only responsible but is inclusive, and it is development driven. So yes, the numbers you may want to slice and dice them, but we are satisfied, and we are going to celebrate whether Mr. Mboit likes it or not.
Well, just one more point. Just one more point. No, because
I like that.
Yeah. No. What we've seen here is a certain pattern. We've just completed this electoral cycle. So what has emerged here from 2021 to date? 2021, your candidate was routed. I don't think we're going to have much discussion there. National Assembly elections from 31 to 15. We go to the councillors, 62-44. Now here, 7-4. Aren't we seeing really the rise of NPP pushing you away from the turf that you had occupied? The graph will show NPP rising, UDP declining. Isn't this just not simply a prolonged decline?
Again, Mr. Mboit, I really do not see it that way, because what we said that in 2021, we raised a lot of issues about the outcome of the elections. Unfortunately, and maybe for all kinds of reasons, the Supreme Court refused or did not hear the petition on its merits. So since then, what we have noticed is that we complain very clearly, and we had evidence to show that there was a lot of cross-border voting. A Senegalese MP had come out and said the same thing, that Senegalese have easy access to Gambian legal documents and citizenship documents. We have seen since that 2021 election significant absences in both the URR and in the LRR. We were talking about close to 70,000 votes in the URR and close to 20,000 votes in the LRR that did not participate in this past mayoral election. But the fact of the matter is that if you put the numbers in terms of plurality, the Gambians have shown since 2021 to be inclined towards the UDP as well as other opposition parties. I mean, this the evidence of that is abundantly clear. So the question is this trend going to continue until 2026? And if so, how is the Gambian body politic going to be impacted? Because we believe that if our petition was heard by the Supreme Court, a lot of things, irregularities, would come clear, and we would be in a position to reform and readjust our electoral process and system.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tal.
I'm expecting from all of us as Gambians, and particularly our journalists, what happened to that spectacular, massive win? Because even in the CRR, both CRRs,
thank you so much, Mr. Tal. Thank you so much. Well, that's Almame Tal, who is the spokesperson of the United Democratic Party. And Mr. Mboj, you are having on viewpoint, right?
Absolutely.
The Supreme Court bit, we haven't even touched that one. That will be interesting. Well, viewers, I mean, with that, we bring an end to this live broadcast. I mean, we were meant to have Landing Bisane and Papa Tunga respectively to have a few words with them, but due to time factor, I mean, we wouldn't be able to get in touch with them. Like I said, I mean, as you have heard from the Independent Electoral Commission Chairman Ali Momar Njai, in Banjul, Rohim Malik Loy is duly re-elected as mayor. In KM, Tarif Ahmed Bensouda re-elected. In Brikama, Yankuba Dabo of UDP is elected as the new chairman of Brikama Area Council. In Mansakonko, Landing Bisane is re-elected. In Kerawan, Papa Tungara of NPP is the new chairman. In Kuntawur, Sehu Jawara of the NPP is re-elected. In Janjambure, Sulaiman Sawane of NPP is elected as the new chairman of Janjambure Area Council. And in Basse, Muhammadu Sise is the new chairman of the Basse Area Council. On behalf of everyone, Ansumana Eso Nyasi, Modu Mboch, Loli M. Kamara, Ibrahim Balde, Hari Koli, Bibi Job, Binta Jao, Lamin Dabo, our regional correspondents, Alaj A.F. Jallo in Basse, Don Williams in Kerawan, Bakari B. Bande in Janjambure. Of course, our other reporters who were out in the field, Modu Gajaga was in Brikama, Loli, like I said, Jude Njai, Jenaba Sonko, and the rest were all out in the field. And our camera department, the production department, we thank you so much for watching this broadcast on behalf of the management and staff of QTV. We thank you so much for watching. And to the winning candidates, we congratulate you and we wish you all the best. And we hope you will live up to the expectations as we expect from you during your campaign. On behalf of everyone here at QTV, we thank you so much. Do have a wonderful day. And bye-bye from me, Alu Sise. Bye.